First of all, welcome, Jason. Thank you for accepting my invitation to come live with me
Oh,
today.
well, thank you, Kevin. I've been following you on Substack. I love your take on Jesus and understanding the faith and how it expresses itself through creativity. So it's a delight to be here.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. I appreciate that. And so, Jason, I'd like to read your bio, if I could, or at least a excerpt from your bio. Um, Jason William Karpf grew up with storytelling. The son of a screenwriter, he was a child actor in the early 1970s, appearing on classic TV shows such as The Bold Ones, The Courtship of Eddie's Father, and Bonanza. And that's a big deal. Anybody born before 1980 would know that.
Yeah.
And screenwriting became his calling from his teens to early 30s. In 1994, he wrote the book Anatomy of a Massacre, the true story of the worst mass shooting of the era, presaging or foretelling the current epidemic of these crimes by 25 years. Jason's blogging and nonfiction writing brings a godly perspective to marketing. His science fiction novels and stories put Jesus first. His speaking creates unique paths to Christian truths, exemplified in his presentation series, Christian Sci-Fi Night with Professor K. One day I'd love to attend
Oh, we've got to do it.
that. Jason holds a master's degree in communication from the University of Denver and a certificate in nonprofit management from Purchase College, State University of New York. In addition to writing and speaking, he teaches marketing, communications, fundraising, and public speaking at Christian universities. Jason and Ann, his wife, live in Minnesota. Between them, they have a son, two daughters, a daughter in law, and a grandson. When he is not writing, speaking, or teaching, he is making music, playing guitar and bass in the worship team of his church. A history and trivia aficionado, Jason was a four-time champion on the TV game show Jeopardy in 2000. Wow. Wow. And we're just scratching the surface.
Just scratching the surface, Kevin. Because you read that aloud, you reminded me I haven't updated it. I now also have a son-in-law and a granddaughter.
Oh, wow. How great.
My grandpa's bad. I got to get the whole family in there. I just wanted to be complete.
That's great. Fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so Jason, we have a lot to talk about here, and I'm wondering, where should I start? Should we start with your mother's career, your childhood acting, you as an author? Where do you want to start?
Why don't we start with me as an author, because it bookends everything,
Okay.
and then talking about mom and what I and my growing up in the entertainment industry will kind of help build back up to where I am now with my ministry.
Great. Okay, so what do you write about, Jason?
I write Christian sci-fi,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I'm not the only one writing it and reading it.
Well, I've actually looked at some of your books and read some of the excerpts from it. I'm like, man, okay, this is interesting stuff. How many books have you written?
I've written 3 fiction books, a study guide that complements one of them,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of textbooks, and the true crime book from the 90s that you mentioned, Anatomy of a Massacre, which was my first book
Okay.
about
Okay.
30 years ago.
Okay. Okay. So, what's your latest book, Jason?
My latest book, and what do you know? I have a copy right here. Honor System,
Mm-hmm.
Christian Sci-Fi Anthology. It contains 2 novellas
Okay.
about believers battling the ultimate AI in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
The two stories are Sinflowers, that takes place in a farming town in Minnesota, close to home, and Through a Glass Darkly, that takes place in Ohio. That centers on the family, the young family of a megachurch pastor, his wife. And I'm proud to say that both stories have been recognized this year at Christian Writing Awards. Sinflowers was a finalist with the Selah Awards, and Through a Glass Darkly came in second place for its category with Realm Makers at the Realm Awards. And I'm very proud about that and very humbled. And yes, Sunflowers, I see Joyce there saying it, and it's just what it sounds like. Genetically engineered sunflowers that this young 30-year-old lady who's a plant geneticist comes back to her small town in Minnesota to grow a test crop. Do things go right and just the way that the scientists planned? Everyone say no, no.
No, I'm sorry. That's my second computer. I'm trying to see who's online with us on the big screen.
That's it. That's it. And so these plants, you bet. No, of course they don't go right. They have the evil AI who's been doing calculations to lead up to this point. Is the AI going to be helpful and do things correctly? Everyone again? No. And so these giant sunflowers were genetically designed to take up pollution from the soil. And there is a class of plants that do this called hyperaccumulators. And plant scientists and agricultural scientists do work on these to try and get pollution out of the soil, out of groundwater.
Wow.
And the pollution from years of over-fertilization and the like. Well, what do you know? The plants take on the mission that they were designed for, and that is to remove impurities from the land.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're off and running.
Right.
So it is a Christian story. The scientist Macy Foster is the sister of a local pastor of a small church who is struggling to grow his ministry in his little church. And so it is science fiction, absolutely. Creepy plants, lots of them.
Well, see, I love the fact that you use, these real life, situations, if you will, in your stories like that, because I think about astronauts. They use plants,
Totally.
in space, for same purposes,
There are plant experiments on ISS. We eventually have to figure out how to feed ourselves in space. We are heading slowly back toward the moon. And speaking of being boys of the 60s, the space race was just indelible in my childhood. I was 7 years old when I watched the moon landing in our den. And we've got to do a lot of work if we're to reestablish a presence in outer space, human presence, get back to the moon. And the big talk of making it to Mars, Elon Musk with his giant starship. The moon is just a stopover, a testing ground as far as he's concerned. And of course, I believe that we'll be on the boots on the moon again within 5 years. And I think we'll get back to Mars before the Lord calls me home. And I intend to watch that with those grandkids I've been talking about.
Great, great, great. So, that is honor system. Yeah, and when did that come out?
Last fall.
Last fall. Okay. Okay. And so you wrote another book called Brimstone.
Brimstone 1. This was my first novel. Now, don't fall out of your chair. I got one right here.
Ah.
You love it? This was my first novel. I am proudly published all of my books by Elk Lake Publishing Incorporated,
Okay.
an independent Christian publisher based in Massachusetts. And Deb Haggerty is the publisher.
Mhm.
And she came across my manuscript and offered me a contract.
Great.
And she is my teacher and my champion. And the motto of Elk Lake is publishing the positive. Wonderful Christian publisher, a bunch of outstanding Christian authors. They're writing all kinds of books, fiction, nonfiction. Not just this,
Mhm.
but Brimstone 1 is the story of the first Christian rocket.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everyone talks about Elon Musk. And again, ripped from the headlines, imagine an evangelical version of Elon Musk.
Yeah. Yeah.
He Yeah, and he builds it, and in secret. He's got this giant ranch in New Mexico, all kinds of construction for years. He says,
Yeah.
"Hey, nothing to see here. We're at the edge of the Permian Basin, just looking for a little oil on my land, people." No, he's not. All of it is a concealed rocket facility.
Yeah.
What you think is the main derrick is the gantry for the eventual rocket, which is hidden inside a special bunker. And yes, it's not too much of a spoiler to say that the billionaire Baxter Moore III, his plans get discovered. Well, he's right on top of it. He made his fortune in media. He has a Christian media empire, so he knows how to handle that. And he says, "Okay, you caught me.
Mhm.
Building a rocket,
Mhm.
but we're just going to launch communication satellites to help spread the gospel. Nothing to see here." No, he's not. There is a secret mission for Brimstone 1 that's been decades in the making,
Mhm.
and it will be piloted. Of course, Baxter's going up. He's the commander of the mission. He wrote the checks. And his pilot is Commander Jana McAllister, a Navy fighter ace
Mhm.
and veteran
Mhm.
and veteran astronaut that he has recruited.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's seen from the point of view, the protagonist is a young engineer
Mhm.
who, in trying to get work with Mr. Moore on his alleged oil project, stumbles across the greater mystery
Mhm.
and is instrumental in uncovering it and what it really means for humanity.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you have any secret plans to take your manuscripts or your books to another level?
Oh, of course not. I don't want anyone to read them, and I would hate if they were turned into movies. There, you heard that. Right. Okay, okay. Yeah, please don't hit me. No, sorry, God, no lightning bolts. Christian media is on an upswing.
Mhm.
Christian movies are improving in budget, quality, casting, and box office.
Great. Great.
And one of my personal heroes is a gentleman named Brock Heasley, who I've interviewed
Okay.
on Substack. He is the writer director of the Christian sci-fi film the The Shift,
Mhm.
and he's a trailblazer. And The Shift is released by Angel Studios, the powerhouse Christian media company.
Mhm.
And Brock has broken down that door, and you bet I'd love to follow him. As long as this is the creator's place, I'm speaking to all my fellow creators out there, Christian creators.
Yeah.
Pray hard, dream big, have fun.
Yes. 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 Yeah. I mean, honestly, when I was reading your excerpts, I was like, yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I'm used to, from my growing up years.
Mhm.
I want to see more of this. I want to see.
Well,
Yeah.
we get a few million folks like you, Kevin.
Mhm.
Off we go.
Yeah.
We'll be able to raise the money and make it. But what you are talking about is my feelings too.
Hmm.
if you love sci-fi, if you write it,
Mhm.
you started as a fan. Everyone does.
Yeah.
And I started because I had a great fan teaching me, and that would be my mother, Eleanor, who went home to the Lord about 12 years ago.
Mhm.
My mom, Eleanor, she insisted folks call her Ellie.
Mhm.
Very down to earth, brilliant woman.
Mhm.
She was a screenwriter and has decades of credits.
Yeah.
And she was an adolescent, a teenager in the 1950s,
Mhm.
which is the golden age of sci fi in movies.
Yeah.
And these classics, people watch them lovingly today, including this old guy.
Mhm.
And we would watch her classics that she saw first run in the theaters in Missouri, where she grew up back in the 50s, on TV reruns in LA in the late 60s and the 70s.
Mhm.
And that's how I was, indoctrinated's a bad word, but just fell in love. It was a sci-fi house.
Yeah.
And that's how I was taught to love sci-fi. And she taught me how to write and to write sci-fi. She loved it. Several projects over the years, things she did independently when I was a kid, and then things we wrote together when I was a young man, and partnering with her, late 70s and the 80s, didn't get made,
Mhm.
but they were written with love and the preference, if we had it,
Mhm.
of what we wanted to do in Hollywood. My mom's biggest credit, the thing more people know about of her work, is the 1972 television movie Gargoyles,
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
cult classic.
Yeah.
It runs on Svengoolie. It runs, on Creature Features, and has been doing so for 50 years after its initial broadcast on CBS.
Wow.
And over the years, met U.S. senators,
Mhm.
airline pilots,
Mhm.
just people of all ages, including younger generations, because it's always playing somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I specifically remember gargoyles. I mean, I was very young when I first encountered it, and this is my story about it. You know, I was maybe 5, 7, between 5 and 7, and I saw it, and I remember that announcer, you know,
At the beginning.
yeah, gargoyles
Yes. He
announcing it.
gave a little history.
Yeah.
The premise, just to get it for anyone who hasn't seen it, and I suggest that everyone stay up to 2 in the morning to go watch it. Of course, now you can stream anything. But the premise is this:
Mhm.
reptilian humanoids that have inspired the gargoyles that we see throughout every civilization. We see the horned creatures in Babylonian art. Of course, the gargoyles of medieval cathedrals
Mhm.
had a biological basis.
Yeah.
The humanoid reptiles who hatch every 500 years and try and take over the earth and defeat humankind.
Mhm.
And what do you know? It's 1972, and here comes the next hatching.
Yeah.
Luckily, we've got a wise professor with silver hair.
Mhm.
I was 10 at the time, so I could play that role today, but back then it was played by the great Cornell Wilde, who was a movie star leading man in the 40s and the 50s and an excellent director.
Mhm.
And luckily, he, as Professor Mercer Bowley, stumbles across the latest hatching. And will he and his gorgeous daughter, Diana, be able to save mankind before the gargoyles fully come out and launch their assault? I'm seeing what Joyce said in the chat. Joyce, my mom was a special woman. She was a believer and the first person to teach me about Jesus. I did not have a faith based upbringing, but I knew Jesus because of mom, and she was brilliant. And I have talked about it in various capacities, and you can see blog posts I've written about this and all that. It was the family business, writing.
Mhm.
So I learned at home, just like the shoemaker's kid or
Yeah.
or dare I say, a carpenter's son. We know about those, don't we? And that's the way it was, and the way it was treated.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So that's why I love sci-fi.
yeah. Well, is it true that your mother wrote 4 episodes of Kung Fu?
You bet. She wrapped up the series with a four-parter where Kwai Chang Caine,
Yeah.
David Carradine, finally finds his lost half brother Danny
Yes.
out in
Yes.
the rollicking West, and Danny's on the run from a vengeful Barbary Coast casino owner and racketeer.
Mhm.
And the Caine brothers have to come together and fight together.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and the villain, Vincent Corbino, was the name of the character villain,
Okay.
who was played by none other than Leslie Nielsen, who
Okay.
went on to have his second career as a brilliant comedy actor in Airplane and the Naked Gun, first series of Naked Gun films.
Mhm.
But here he was just pure evil and coming after Danny Kaye and Kwai Chang Caine was going to get in the way. He was going to die too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a big adventure, and it wrapped up the series. And you bet,
Yeah. That's amazing. I mean, a good chunk of my childhood revolved around that show. Kung Fu.
wonderful show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, and okay, so she has a long list of credits. I mean,
Certainly,
um, let's look here. Let me find it. Oh, here we go. All right, Capital. I
yep.
mean, 1982 to 87. I mean,
Hmm.
over 1,200 episodes she wrote.
Well, she did. Well, she created it and wrote many of the early episodes.
Okay.
But welcome to soap opera. No reruns, no time off,
Mhm.
and you've got 5 episodes a week you need to be showing. It is a voracious
Wow.
format.
Wow.
And I wrote soap opera with her
Hmm.
in my late teens and early 20s. And some people think, well, that's peculiar, writing soap opera with your mother. Well, that's what I did.
Yeah.
And certainly it was a great education in writing quickly
Hmm.
and using emotion and dialogue to carry your point because you don't have the time and budgets for rocket ships and car chases and all the things I loved. I can put in my books anytime, and Lord knows I do.
Hmm.
But here you've got to create compelling stories using the basics. So incredibly helpful to me for writing dialogue, writing quickly.
Hmm.
Oh, and that touch of romance. I always tell people I've got a lot of stuff blowing up in my books, but always a little kissing too.
All right. So, um, how long did it take you to write a book? I mean,
Too long.
too long. Okay.
I mean, I can get it done in several months once the flywheel's up.
Okay.
And that's not to brag. I mean, it's you ask any writer, the speed will vary,
I'm sure. Yeah.
and I'm no different.
Hmm.
And I'm doing a lot of other things in life, like everyone else. So it comes down to once the story is coming together, I get more excited and I write faster because I
Okay.
say, I get this thing out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But as much as I talked about quick writing as a soap opera writer, obviously here I do not have 5 episodes to get on the air every week, so I can and do take more time.
Well, that's good. That's good. Less stress.
Well, I'm doing it, for joy, for the love of God, and the stories come as they do,
Yeah.
and but just keep cranking them out. And I dare say, and again, all of the writers out there listening will probably nod in understanding. I've got enough book ideas to take me into my 80s.
Mhm. Wow. Wow.
I turned 64 in February, and And I'm sure other stuff's going to come to mind, but I've got a big pipeline. Not to brag, it's just there, and it's just a matter now of letting it grow and pushing it through and getting it out there for the kingdom.
Right, right, right. Okay, so um, how did your mother get into sci-fi?
Well, getting back to the 50s, we had the big sci-fi movies. There were a lot of schlocky ones too, and they're great fun as well. But this is the era where you've got blockbusters released by the biggest studios.
Mhm.
Um, The Day the Earth Stood Still, 1951, directed by the wonderful Robert Weiss, who went on to win Oscars for West Side Story and The Sound of Music.
Okay. Mhm,
Glorious film. Klaatu, the serene,
mhm,
cerebral, handsome alien. He's 6'4" and a chiseled patrician look. Everyone expects aliens to be, green and oozing and everything else. He's absolutely humanoid.
mhm,
He gets examined at Walter Reed Hospital when he's taken into custody. A trigger happy soldier. Of course, the army surrounds his flying saucer when it lands in a park in Washington, D.C. One of them freaks out and shoots him in the shoulder. So they examine Klaatu, and he's physiologically identical to Homo sapiens.
okay, uh-huh,
So just the opposite of what we would expect.
yeah,
And he's on a mission,
mhm,
but everyone thinks he could be bringing Armageddon.
mm,
Great, great movie that holds up today.
uh-huh,
When Worlds Collide, 1953,
yeah,
the granddaddy of space arc movies,
mhm,
made by the legendary, again, I like that word, legendary George Powell, one of the greatest figures in sci-fi cinema. And it won the Oscar for Best Special Effects.
mm,
And such an ambitious film. Will they get the space arc built? Will it take off in time? Rogue star with an orbiting planet's coming crushing toward Earth. The only hope is to jump off Earth and land on the rogue planet, on the rogue star's planet, which will then be taken up by our sun and will assume Earth's orbit.
mm,
And my mom saw it when she was like 13.
mhm,
I saw it when I was 6 or 7
mhm,
in reruns, and just that thrill. Are
mhm,
we going to get on the spaceship?
mhm,
Is such an amazing sci-fi premise.
mhm, mhm,
And the list goes on. The War of the Worlds, again by George Powell, a couple of years later.
mhm,
Forbidden Planet, where we were just talking about Leslie Nielsen as the villain in those Kung Fu episodes. Here he is, Commander Adams,
mhm,
commanding the Star Cruiser here to check on Altair 4, excuse me. Scientific Party landed there 20 years ago. Haven't heard anything since.
mhm, mhm.
Again, gray haired professor types there. Silver hair, please, white. Okay, whatever. Old guy.
Yeah,
Turn around. Don't land here.
mhm,
We have to check on you. They land. You'll be sorry. And just the magnificence of that Technicolor spectacle, which Gene Roddenberry said flat out was his inspiration for Star Trek, which he
okay,
got on the air 10 years later.
uh,
So if you love Star Trek, watch Forbidden Planet.
okay, yeah, let me write that down because I
Oh, yeah.
I'm a fan of the, original Star Trek.
Yeah, yeah, well, Star Trek TOS, as all of us cool nerds call it. And yeah, absolutely. And Roddenberry, he didn't try and conceal the fact.
Mhm,
And when you see the way that the ship operates and its mission,
mhm,
and just every you can see, okay, I can see where Gene was coming from,
mm,
and that's beautiful. We're always inspired by, that's the nicest way of putting it, past it, books and movies. I'm
yeah,
constantly doing this,
yeah,
putting together an idea here, an inspiration there.
right.
And my two novellas
Uh-huh,
in honor system
mhm,
are straight up love letters to the Twilight Zone.
Okay. Mhm.
And I teach from the Twilight Zone in my study series,
Mhm.
Christian Sci-Fi Night with Professor K. We watched the classic episodes, 1959 to 64. And then we talk about them from a biblical perspective. I ask some questions, have people look
Mhm.
up some scripture,
Mhm.
and they're able to see godly truths
Yeah.
in marvelous science fiction. And
Yeah.
that really gets back to the premise of my writing and my ministry.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. I mean, I remember, watching Superman when I was a child and, just getting the the parallelism between Superman and Christ.
Amen.
Superman, coming to save the world, and
Hmm.
um so as a kid, I could see that, that correlation, if you will. Um and so
The messianic theme or trope is very important in sci-fi.
Mhm.
The parallels between Superman and Christ have been well documented, and as Christian fans of superhero movies and sci-fi, we should watch it with that in mind and have that deeper level of enjoyment. The movie I just told you about, The Day the Earth Stood Still,
Mhm.
very much along the same lines.
Mhm.
Klaatu is this, well, not too much of a spoiler because it's been around for 75 years, is a man of peace, an entity of peace, and it has come to help Earth
Yeah.
and is rejected
Yeah.
and is attacked.
Yeah.
And so, why not take the greatest story ever told, as it's called,
Yeah.
and adapt it into sci-fi scenarios? And that gives these stories great relevance
Yes.
and speaks to those truths that, as Christians,
Yeah.
we hold dear.
Right. Right. I remember talking to um a coworker of mine, I don't know, going back 20 years ago or so. And I had first heard about the origin story of Superman by another coworker
Mhm.
who told me, it was written by a couple of Jewish uh,
That's right.
authors, and how they modeled the story off of Christ, the Bible, and
Mhm.
so I was able to, uh, you know, share that with another coworker of mine who became curious about, my beliefs and so
Yes.
forth, you know. And so it can be a segue into, you know, witnessing to somebody.
Well, see, that's the whole point. And getting back to, as I'm, thinking about what you're saying, it is exactly that. And this is why um, I write what I write.
Yeah.
I want to help people get closer to God. And everyone who has a ministry, that is the ultimate purpose, from pastor to someone who helps set up the chairs at church to you name it.
Yeah.
It's all to be that person who steps in and gets you closer to God. That's ministry.
Yes.
And, Jerry Siegel and Joe Schuster,
Hmm.
two Jewish men in the 1930s, created it. I don't know if they sat down and said, well, let's take this Jesus story, but et cetera. But the fact that it came out that way shows these stories, the Bible, is the story of us and the story of life.
Hmm.
It's the living word. And so I think it is powerful when science fiction picks up these themes
Yeah.
and tells them in a new way and makes people think. And especially think about the person, well, I don't have time for that Bible, I don't, going to church, nah.
Right.
But if you can reach them another way,
Right.
then you've done a great deal for the kingdom.
Right.
And my Substack is entitled "Playing God Leads to Trouble,"
Mhm.
and that is the shared lesson
Mhm.
of Scripture and sci-fi. I mean, you've got 2 Corinthians 12:9 that talks about boasting of weakness and letting God's power through.
Yes.
Science fiction is all about, time and again, people playing God. We know that idea.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the origin of science fiction, the novel Frankenstein,
Mhm.
200 years ago, 200 plus.
Mhm.
And Victor Frankenstein is feeling like God. I'm creating life out of lifeless matter.
Mhm.
It immediately goes wrong.
Mhm.
His man is a monster,
Yeah.
hideous, terrifying, and he rejects him.
Mhm.
Does God reject any of us, no matter how broken we are physically or spiritually? Never.
Right.
And so, in a heartbeat, Victor Frankenstein fails the
Mhm.
God test.
Yeah.
Oh yes, he created life, but did he really? And is he God? Never. And the creature in the book um, learns how to read and write, eavesdropping on a family in a that lives in a remote house.
Mm.
It becomes quite articulate
Mhm.
and seeks vengeance against Frankenstein for having created and abandoned him,
Yeah.
made him this hated monster. He knows enough, and he says, the creature does, I was supposed to be your Adam,
Mhm.
and the biblical themes are right out there for everyone to see. The monster's saying it.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so you've got the book 1818,
Mhm.
and this set up everything.
Mhm. Yeah.
So as I return to writing science fiction after decades, by this time, I'm a Christian. I've declared Jesus Lord and Savior.
Mhm.
Can I put the two together? I found out quickly, absolutely.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. That's something. So after, yeah, I mean, you were raised in science fiction
Mhm.
and came to know Christ. And God does that a lot in our lives. He uses our past to um, as means to reach other people, for His cause. And even me coming to Substack. Before I came to Substack, I wasn't doing any writing, but it is in my history, and I I always enjoyed it, and I felt like, I mean, communicating even verbally,
Mhm.
writ- written form, verbal form, whatever form, has always been something um, that I valued, and um, so when I came to Substack, it's like God took something from my past that I enjoyed, and has assigned me to write for him. And so, that's I didn't set out to do that. I
No,
wasn't, it just happened.
well, of course, because that's God at work,
Yeah.
and you being that vessel, that pass through.
Yeah.
And again, it's what 2 Corinthians 12:9 talks about, and throughout the Bible.
Yes. Yes.
Be strong in God's power, not yours.
Right.
And of course, this is the complete opposite of what people do in science fiction stories, leading to all kinds of trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in in my anthology honor system, we've got a very earnest young plant geneticist, 30 years old, Dr. Macy Foster. She's brilliant. She's been around the world. She's come back to her little town in Minnesota to do the final steps of growing these genetically engineered sunflowers that will clean up farmland that has been polluted from years of over fertilization. It's a boon to
Mhm.
farmers and their surrounding communities. She has the best of intentions. She is brilliant,
Mhm.
but she creates life in these flowers.
Mhm.
She uses the honor system AI, which is defective.
Mhm. Yeah.
she runs afoul of people who have ulterior motives. And that's how her story goes terribly wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And in Through a Glass Darkly, the other story, we've got Mackenzie Pruitt, young pastor's wife, early 30s. But this is no ordinary pastor or husband. He's been thrust into the pulpit of a mega church that his father founded.
Mm-hmm.
Dad drops dead. Older brother, the heir apparent, walked away. He's the second son, never meant for this.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Queen Elizabeth's father, King George. You know, King Edward, the handsome, dashing guy, he was always supposed to be king. He was the oldest. He became king. He abdicates because he wants to marry a divorced American woman. George, who has a stuttering problem, which was the subject of the Oscar-winning film The King's Speech, was never meant for this.
Mm-hmm.
George rose to the occasion, one of the greatest monarchs, king during World War II, and helped rally his people in the world. But Mackenzie's husband is in this role that was never intended. She's under tremendous stress. Her mother-in-law is demeaning and demanding, and now is no longer the first lady of the church, but still pulling all the strings.
Mm-hmm.
Mother-in-law is gorgeous, fit as a fiddle. Mackenzie, struggles with her weight. Wonderful, beautiful woman, but under this pressure to be the perfect pastor's wife on a global stage now.
Mm-hmm.
The church is that big. So the mother-in-law buys her an exercise, a fitness system
Mm-hmm.
that consists of a 6-foot-tall touchscreen mirror
Mm-hmm.
powered by Honor System and an AI avatar personal trainer pops up and is there to make Mackenzie all she can be.
Yeah.
Does that go wrong, everyone? Yes. See, it wasn't no. I flipped the question.
Yeah.
But again, it's a matter of this artificial life with the artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And the susceptibility of this good Christian woman who's under all kinds of forces, including demonic, when it comes down to it. And so this gets back, again, to science fiction. It's about playing God. And the Bible warns us constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came to realize that connection,
Mm-hmm.
that I know what I'm going to do now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's how I was able to bring together my two great loves, apart from my wife, my kids, and my grandkids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the greatest love of all, Jesus.
Yeah.
And my love for science fiction and writing.
Yeah.
Science fiction and teaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, how did Jeopardy lead to you coming to know Christ?
Well, again, God uses everything for his purpose.
Mm-hmm.
25 years ago, people had told me for years, you ought to be on Jeopardy. Sometimes they meant it as a compliment. Sometimes it's like, why don't you go on Jeopardy? Okay, fine. I tried out.
Yeah.
And that's a fascinating process. I was living in the greater LA area at the time. I went to Sony Picture Studios, the former MGM lot. And you try out first by taking a written test. The clues are shown on the big screen and spoken aloud, just like you would have on the show, and you write down your answer. It doesn't have to be in the form of a question, just real simple. Mm-hmm. And if you pass that hurdle, then they bring you down in groups of 3 for mock games, not for points or anything, but just to see, your personality, how you handle yourself. Yeah. Out of about 75 people in that test group, that tryout group, about 12 of them made the written test cut, and I was one of them. Yeah. Then we're doing the mock games, and I said, well, I used to be an actor. I think I will play the role of a game show contestant, which means lots of energy, having fun. And when I buzzed in for the first time, it's like U.S. presidents for 200, and the contestant coordinator said, "That's what we want to see." So I thought, okay, well, I'm not too far off.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. That's good. I
So,
mean, you're the same way when you're playing the bass guitar.
oh, you've seen that too. Yes, yes. The evidence is all over that there internet. I've been playing bass for almost 50 years. I'm a music school graduate. I dropped out of college and then went to music school and then put all of it aside. Playing worship music is ingrained in my ministry, and that was a step
Yeah.
toward where I am today with the Lord. And I was a very serious musician, wrote songs, did demo tapes, all this stuff, played bass.
Mm-hmm.
And went to music school, and then it didn't pan out, and I put my bass in the closet for over 20 years, hardly touched it.
Mm.
My wife Annie and I joined a church, a particular church in California that had a very vibrant worship music program, and I befriended one of the bass players and said, "Well, I used to play bass." And he said, "What do you mean used to? We need you."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right. So I get it out of the closet, start playing. In about a month, the calluses came back, and then I never looked back.
Ah.
Because this time I wasn't trying to be a rock star. I was playing for Jesus.
Yeah.
And I will never stop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was the I'll use the word resurrection of my music
Mm-hmm.
that some years later, led me to resurrect my writing. I stepped away from screenwriting in Hollywood in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I had to have had a couple of young kids, nothing panning out. It
Mm-hmm.
was time.
Yeah.
And so I put that in the closet too, in a manner of speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And I use my testimony, my witness,
Yeah.
to encourage everyone I talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone listening tonight or watching this interview, whenever, bring it back, bring your passion back, but do it for God.
Yeah.
And I've got a vlog called Your Surprising Ministry because a great friend of mine, believer, was at one of my Christian sci-fi nights. He says, "Jason, this is really cool, but is there a way you can tell people how they can find you love science fiction? We get it. And you're doing it for the Lord. Is there any way you can talk to people about what they love and turning that to Christ?" So Your Surprising Ministry is my blog that talks about this. And I've talked to wonderful people doing amazing and unexpected things,
Mm-hmm.
but they do it for Jesus.
Yeah.
And it gets us away from, well, if we're going to be good Christians, let's sing out of our hymnal and sit quietly with our hands folded, and some guy in a robe and all's going to be lording over us, pun intended,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and telling us fire and brimstone, how we're unworthy, and then we'll do it all again next Sunday. No.
Yeah.
And so by playing bass, by writing science fiction, this is how I come to God and hope to bring others. And I also hope if there's anything, I know on Substack, a lot of writers. I love this community, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah, me too.
And we've got the kindred spirits here. But anything,
Yeah,
that you go, I didn't know I could use that for God. I love doing that.
right.
And get you thinking.
Yeah,
That's beautiful, and that's what we need more of.
yeah,
Because the church, where 2 or 3 are gathered, I am there.
yeah.
Gather people for something good, something they need, something that lifts them up. And they find out why you're doing it. Well, I'm doing it for Jesus. That's why I'm here today.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the moment.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's just funny. I mean, like I said, I didn't know that this is what the Lord had planned for me.
Mhm.
I I I do remember praying one time and saying to the Lord, said, "Lord, everything that I've learned from the past, I'd like to, you know, use it at some point in the future, because I don't like things going to waste." And and he answered that prayer. he answered that correct. And so, um, to God be the glory.
Always,
Yes.
always. Hallelujah. This is the whole point of it.
Right.
And we have to remember we are a new creation.
Yeah.
And that's straight from the good book.
Yep.
And to use that, and everything God uses for good in his glory.
Yes.
And we see that real early, book of Genesis. There's a fellow named Joseph
Yeah. Yeah.
who gets betrayed and has the worst life,
Yeah.
left for dead, sold into slavery,
Yeah.
accused of rape,
Mhm.
falsely accused, thrown in prison.
Yep.
And he ends up saving much of the civilized world. Egypt, where he rises to being Pharaoh's right hand man, and his treacherous brothers. And he shows God's way, which, of course, Jesus
Mhm.
teaches us.
Yes. Yeah.
But we see the godly path with Joseph.
Mhm.
And anyone living Joseph's life would have every right to say, I'm ruined. This isn't fair. And yet we see it, glory for the ages.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So so was there a transition? Was Jeopardy a stepping stone to
Yes,
okay, and
absolutely.
how so?
I was a college dropout.
Okay.
I left in 1981 when I was 19 years old because I was so dang smart.
Mhm.
I got dumber since and I had to deal with that. But boy, when you're 19, boy, are you smart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I dropped out of school
Mhm.
and I was going to make it in the entertainment industry. Yeah, I went to music school, learned a great deal, one of my best learning experiences,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
did not become a rock star, did not become a big time songwriter,
Mhm.
and did not become a big screenwriter, even though I had a great teacher and my mom, a great entree into the business.
Mhm.
Everything you've heard about Hollywood is true, just 10 times more so.
Yeah. Mhm.
So fast forward to the year 2000.
Mhm.
I go on Jeopardy. You heard about the tryout. They put you in a pool if you pass all of everything I described, and then they if they need you, they'll pick you, and they picked me.
Mhm.
I was on 5 times and I won 4. This was back in the day when you could only be on 5 times, as opposed to
Yeah.
the Ken Jennings era where you stay on if you keep winning.
Mhm.
Which is why I shot the works in game 5, because I was in the lead, but not enough to make it a runaway in Final Jeopardy. So I went hunting around the board, which has become more of a tactic in later years. Found the other daily double. I was going to close it out, got that one wrong.
Mhm.
But even more than the check,
Mhm.
and people to this day saying, You were on Jeopardy? And I had all kinds of people who knew me. People I hadn't talked to in years. Hey, I saw you. I mean, it's amazing the impact of that
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the week that my winnings came in a check, it was right there in the mailbox, just with all the junk mail and everything else, rather low key.
Mhm.
Put it in the bank,
Mhm.
and I enrolled in the local community college.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because getting ready for Jeopardy, I did so much reading and studying and remembered how much I loved it.
Mhm.
And so I was 38,
Mhm.
and and the plan kind of unspooled slowly. Well, I'll just take some business classes. Well, that turned into no, you're going to stick with it. And by this time, I was doing a lot of marketing and PR in my work as a real estate agent,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
which is what I did in the second half of the 90s.
Mhm.
And I found that the part of it I really loved was doing the marketing for myself, and my broker
Mhm.
said, Hey, this is cool. Can you help out the company? So I became the marketing trainer. And little did I realize how much that would shape my life.
Mhm.
I decided I wanted to do marketing and PR as a full time career. The career path demanded a bachelor's.
Mhm.
Want to get a job and move up? You had to check that box.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it turned into becoming a marketing major.
Mhm.
And it took 6 years. I didn't do it in just 4, but compared to the 20 some odd where I was spinning my wheels, not so bad.
Yeah.
But again, the Lord had his hand on me. A little bit of a break in the studies. I finished community college. Didn't go right ahead for the upper division. 2 years, but by the time I did, I was enrolled in an online program. I was a single dad at that point, and I met a single mom in class. Same story you hear all the time. Oh, those college boys meeting girls. Yep. Okay, I was 40 something, had a couple of kids, but same thing. We were 2,000 miles apart. Same thing. And that lady is my wife today. We've been together as a couple over 20 years. And that's my wife, Pastor Annie. She is today a pastor with we're Assemblies of God. And she's my rock and is a rock to so many people. And we fell in love, and we rendezvoused between classes in Las Vegas. She lied to her mom. Well, I'm just going to blow off some steam with a girlfriend. All right, but you better not be seeing that crazy guy from California. All right, here. Confession, good for the soul. We came away engaged. And Annie said after we got engaged, I want you to hear the good news. And first thing I said, well, I know the good news. We're getting married. Well, yes, but so Annie, a lifelong believer, brought me to the Lord. And she bought me 2 books, the Quest Study Bible.
Yes.
Great book, great resource.
Yes.
And a second book, God and Ronald Reagan. Okay, so an old guy like me, okay, I was in my 40s, but back then, but even so, if I'm saying to myself, if it's good enough for the Gipper, good enough for me. And Amy, being the brilliant woman that she is, she knew this will make it very clear for him. So I declared Jesus Lord and Savior. I met Annie because I went back to college. And I went back to college because I was on Jeopardy.
Okay, there it is. There it is. Wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Oh, hold on 1 second. Are you there?
I'm right here.
Okay. I'm seeing a delay on my other screen.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's wonderful. So let me see. All right. So I was watching. I want to ask you a question. I was watching some of the interview of you with Judy Arnold
Yes.
from wow. I mean, and this just took me back too because I was like roller derby. Oh man, wow. And the question that looms in my head is because she was talking about this, w- you know, worldly success. A lot of people experience worldly success in their younger years in life. And they reach a point in their later years where they come to Christ and they realize the worldly success does not hold the weight that they thought it would, before achieving that worldly success. For those listening who might be, looking, from the standpoint of, being at the lower part of the mountain, looking at the top of the mountain of worldly success, why do you think that is? That when people come to Christ and a realization that, you know, well, this is something more than knowing Jesus is more than what I thought worldly success
Yes.
would be.
It is infinite.
Yeah.
It is so vast and beautiful
Mhm.
and ever present.
Yeah.
Jesus never gives up on us.
Right.
And we can come and go, we can fall down,
Mhm.
we can come from any kind of disaster.
Mhm.
And it dawned on me, look, I grew up in Hollywood. I had big dreams, and they were right in front of me. And my mother and her at her peak, very successful. I went to Beverly Hills High School. There, I said it. I graduated there in 1980. It
Mhm.
was that life.
Mhm.
And then it went away.
Mhm.
And I was a mess. I was a wreck. And I was a wreck even when I had the most money in an American Express Gold card.
Mhm.
Self loathing, alcohol.
Mhm.
Um, so even when I had as much of the world as I've ever had,
Mhm.
I was a wreck. And then when that was taken away,
Mhm.
well, you can imagine. And crawling back, I worked on my personal recovery without Jesus, apparently.
Mhm.
We all know the poem "Footprints in the Sand." Those are
Yeah.
the time one set. I was carrying you then,
Yeah.
and Jesus is always at our side.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
When we turn around and see Him, that's the difference.
Yeah.
And in studying Scripture,
Mhm.
and going to Bible study, and going to church,
Mhm.
and I learned set forth in God's living Word thousands of years ago. So it's not like someone just came up with this as some self help to make me feel better. In recent years,
Mhm.
this was God's law and promise for the ages. And when I saw its beauty and simplicity, and that I was forgiven.
Yeah.
No, I can't be forgiven. Boy, am I a screw up, a failure, fraud. No, you're not. You're beautiful. You're
Mhm.
forgiven.
Yeah.
And that, yes, you will suffer,
Mhm.
but all things I use for my good, my glory.
Mhm.
And that means yours too.
Mhm. Yeah.
When you follow me. And the beautiful realization of that
Mhm.
changed everything.
Yeah.
And do I struggle with everything of life? Of course. I'm not here saying, well, yeah, I found Jesus 20 years ago. Nothing to see here. Hardly,
Right. Right.
like the rest of us.
Yep.
And when I sway and stray and get beat down, at least I know who stands with me now.
Right.
And I turn to him. And that made all the difference. I mean, Jesus was around in the 80s when I was doing, life my way
Mhm. Mhm.
and a wreck. And, all of the things were there. I had to come to it. So, and that's okay. That's always been the story.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yeah.
when I see the two greatest apostles, although he said none are greater than the other, and get behind me, Satan. So don't go ranking yourself. But as we look and see the stories of Paul and Peter,
Right.
who come to the fore, we got Peter. I'll never deny you, Lord. Nah, 3 times, Peter. I already know.
Right. Right.
Still the rock of the church. Paul, the brilliant, ruthless
Yeah.
persecutor, administer of death sentences,
Mhm. Mhm.
instrument of the powers that be.
Mhm.
You will be my most eloquent, my most widely traveled servant.
Yeah.
And Jesus can use them
Yeah.
for glory for the ages.
Yeah.
What can he do for me? And when I say for me, I don't mean that selfishly. I mean by serving him.
Yeah.
But yes, we do have that grace, that gift. It's okay to say what's in it for me as long as you do it the God's way,
Oh, yeah.
the godly way.
Yeah.
The verse from Second Corinthians I talked about earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm weak, I boast, and suddenly God's power is here. Yes, that's for me and meant to be because I'm for him. And that's that when I learned this, and I learn it every day. We had Bible study last night,
Mm.
and it's never one and done,
Yeah.
and that's beautiful too.
Yeah. And when Jesus said to Peter, "Thou art Peter, and upon this rock," he was referring to himself.
Yeah.
"On this rock I will build my church, and the very gates of hell shall not prevail against it." And, anytime, anything, Jesus also said, "Without me, you can do nothing."
Mhm.
So anything that we do, it's he's the one doing the work. Just
Yeah.
like he said about his father. He says, all that he does, he does only that which he hears and sees his father do. And that it is his father even working in him. W-
Yes.
And
We see how the Trinity works,
yes,
and not that we can ever explain it or grasp it,
right.
because it is the infinite,
Yeah,
is beyond our understanding. But we can see the results, and we know the power of faith.
right. Right. That's right. That's right. All right. So are we done? Is that it? Or we can go into a whole lot more, but I think yeah, we've been on here an hour, so that's I think that's a good place to wrap up.
And it's your show, Kevin. I'm good. I'm good. This has been
Yeah.
glorious.
Yeah, it has been. And I did want, there you have, there's a lot of things in your history that, touched on my childhood, the courtships of Eddie's father,
Oh, yes.
my
One of
my
my acting credits. You got it.
my eldest brother. He's 8 years older than me.
Mhm.
He's the one that really I know about that show because of him.
Oh, there you go.
And what else? Bonanza. Yeah, knew it. I watched Bonanza coming up.
Mhm.
The bold ones. I'm not too familiar with the bold ones.
It's yeah. It was not. It was not at that pop culture level. It was what was called a wheel show. That means a rotating cast,
Okay.
and they've got a different set of protagonists each week,
Okay.
and they are heroic public servant types,
Mm-hmm.
doctors,
Yeah.
lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
Hal Holbrook played a senator who was one of the bold ones, and every few weeks his show would come up.
Yeah.
I was on that part of the wheel known as the New Doctors,
Okay.
and I played a child with muscular dystrophy.
Mm-hmm.
And my episode was directed by Jerry Lewis,
Ah, yeah.
the famous comedic actor and director.
Uh-huh.
And muscular dystrophy was his cause. And
Yeah.
he hosted the Muscular Dystrophy Labor Day Telethon for years.
Yes, I remember.
So he directed it and he cast me.
Yes.
And I remember getting a little advice, Mom, and we were on the lot on Universal. Mom was writing and producing a TV movie. Bold Ones filmed at Universal.
Okay.
And when I went in to read, she said, "You know Jerry Lewis? Yeah, I seen on TV and all.
Mm-hmm.
Be like him.
Okay.
Look at the way he just stands out, has no fear, and he's always playing the loudest kid in the room. Be that and see what happens." So I took her advice and I stood out in front of the boys to announce myself, and Jerry Lewis said, "Okay, come on in." And all the kid actors started to file in. He said, "No, no, just Jason."
Ah. Aha.
And he had me in and he gave me my first part. And he was a magnificent director. He and the director of my Courtship of Eddie's Father episode, which was the star, Bill Bixby, both understood something very key.
Mhm.
A child actor is doing as hard and important a job as an adult.
Yeah.
You are performing.
Mhm.
A lot of money's riding on this. Costs money to make a movie or shoot a TV episode.
Yeah.
The pressure is incredible, and we don't realize it, as we jump in.
Yeah.
They both understood I was a kid. They didn't baby me or talk down to me, but they got the best performance out of me by taking care of me. I'll never forget that.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. He was, Jerry Lewis was one of my top 5 in terms of comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny guy. Well,
So that's the story there, but that's what the Bold Ones was. But yes, Bonanza was one of the biggest shows on TV, one of the top westerns, and of course, Courtship of Eddie's Father.
right, right.
Beautiful, funny show. And so I'm proud to say that was part of my first chapter.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one day I'll have to have you back because, there's plenty more we can talk about.
Anytime. This has just been wonderful.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate it. It's been my pleasure. Thank you, Joyce, for all of your participation. I see your comments here now. Oh, and I couldn't see them on my small screen.
Yeah, they're there. Joyce has made wonderful observations. Glad you're here. Glad everyone's here. And I'm glad for everyone to watch this. The wonders of the internet. Nothing ever dies.
That's right. That's right.
Watch whenever you can.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. I am Kevin from the Creators Place. Jason Karp from. Tell me what your Substack name. Of your Substack
Oh, playing God leads to trouble.
leads to trouble. All right.
If you like sci-fi and you love the Lord, come on over.
Amen. Amen. All right. Thank you, Jason. And we'll
Thank you.
talk. All right. Bye bye.
Bye. God bless.